What's up, Tim Sykes, millionaire mentor and trader, and I am here reading your messages to me. I love reading messages. I'm not trying to make anybody feel good or bad by reading them. I just want to use these messages as lessons for everybody because, hopefully you can learn from what I've done right, what I've done wrong, and now, what other people have done right and wrong too. I think that there's not enough sharing, honestly, in the trading industry. It's crazy how many compliments I get when I have a loss and I share it and everyone's like, "You're so real." No, I mean, I am real, but no, this shouldn't be a compliment. This should just be natural. So actually leave a comment below this video if you agree that people should share honestly. I know that it's tough. I know you want to look good for your social media followers or for your own ego or for your friends, your family, whatever. But in order to truly become a solid and successful trader, you have to be honest with yourself and with others. It does you no good if you just lie to everybody and pretend to be good and pretend to be successful when your actual account and your trading is in the red, as too many people I know are. Be very aware of just a lot of fakes in my industry. There's a lot of people who make excuses why they don't share everything. Don't believe a word they say, okay? Do not just accept people when they put out a profit screenshot. Look, I made 30 grand today. Or they post a month end screenshot of maybe one of their accounts, not showing you their other accounts, not showing you the details of every single trade. You cannot just judge a trade based on the overall profit and loss. I know a lot of dumb people who get lucky and they have a big profit, but if they keep doing those dumb trades, they will eventually lose it all, as I've seen many times before. And sometimes when I lose, it's not a bad trade. For whatever reason, the stock didn't do what I wanted, but I followed rule number one and I cut losses quickly. So sometimes a loss can be a good trade. I know that's confusing. People are like, what, you're going to teach me to lose money? Yes, I'm going to teach you how to manage your losses and not let small mistakes turn into potential big disasters. That's what gets so many traders. Not that they're bad traders, they just don't have discipline. Every single great trader I know has losses. We just know how to manage them and not let them turn into something terrible. It's a very slippery slope. So without further ado, I'm going to read this message. Again, no names. It doesn't matter who this is, but I want you to learn from it. This person said, I was just burned by the UOMO pump, which hit earlier this week. I lost about $15,000, which was half of my portfolio. I knew about pump schemes before, but thought they were mostly for stocks trading under 10 cents a share. The stock was trading for a month around 50 cents a share before the pump, and I still got burned. I'm a home improvement contractor. I work hard and long. It takes me 2 or 3 years to come up with $15,000 after I pay my bills. And that's if I'm lucky, if I have good jobs and the economy is good, and if I'm healthy. And he went on. And I'm not trying to embarrass him. Everybody goes through losses. I personally lost $500,000 plus. And I detail that in my best-selling book, An American Hedge Fund, which you can get on Amazon for $20, or you can click the link below and get the book for free because I want you to learn from my successes and my failures. So don't feel bad if you lost $15,000 or $5,000 or even $500,000. You can't change the past, but you can be better prepared for the future. And UOMO specifically, I don't know if you follow my writings. I used to write for TheStreet.com. I actually exposed this as a pump many years ago, and it's still a pump. The pumps repeat. And frankly, I was actually funny. I met the UOMO promoter on one of my trips and he's like, mate, you exposed my pump. And he was British or Australian or something. And I was like, yeah, that was messed up. You shouldn't pump stocks. And he was like, I was trying to tell my client, you got it on TheStreet.com. That never happens. And I was like, I'm sorry. And he's like, it's okay. Buy me a shot. And we became somewhat friends, even though I think he's going straight to hell for his unethical business dealings. UOMO has been a pump. It continues to be a pump. You cannot just risk your hard-earned money. I hate getting messages like this. Pumps can happen on, 10-cent stocks, 50-cent stocks, even $20 stocks. The price doesn't matter. All that matters is why it's up. And UOMO has a history of being pumped up with emails and pumped up with press releases and pumped up with whatever they can get their hands on. You cannot afford to be naive and not know about this. Otherwise, you will lose, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. And the dollar loss doesn't matter. It's more of like, it's just heartbreaking when you save up so much money and you're like, yeah, I'm going to get into the stock market. I want to get rich. And then you just get crushed. And then some people out there are like, that's what I told you. Don't get into the stock market. Don't get into the stock market if you're unprepared, okay? As I often say, the stock market and specifically trading is a battlefield. And if you enter this battlefield unprepared, you will get annihilated, okay? If everyone else has freaking machine guns and you come to the battlefield and you're like, I'm ready and I have a little knife, guess how you're gonna do? So you need the right tools, and that comes down to knowledge. It comes down to having the right brokerage. And sadly, I wish this person had read my blog about UOMO from years ago. And it's not a coincidence that several of my top students, Jackaroo, I think made $10,000. Kyle Williams made, I think, $11,000. And a few other students made $2,000 or $3,000 short selling UOMO. You can make money betting against these pumps. And it doesn't matter whether it's UOMO or another pump. If the stock is up 5, 10, 20, 30 times in a few days on BS press releases, it will collapse. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And I usually look for the first red day, but when you're trying to find shares to short, you can't necessarily wait for the first red day. The shares to short usually disappear sooner. Click the link below. I'm going to include a link to one of my favorite music videos that I made called No Borrow, No Cry. If you do wait for that first red day, there's usually no borrows. So you have to enter a little too soon, risk a little pain. That is what I teach, okay? This is why Jack Kellogg and Kyle Williams both made, 5 figures on this pump betting against it when it collapsed. And that's just, going to happen again and again. So you choose, are you going to be prepared for the next pump? Are you going to fall for it thinking that it's based on price, which it's not? Or are you going to be truly prepared and either miss out on getting scammed, or if you really want to get into it, and because you know that the pump is probably going to fail very soon, if not, a few days later, guess what? You can short sell and you can bet against it. You just need to have knowledge and the right brokers. Click the link below. I'm going to include a bunch of links with the brokers that I use. They don't pay me a dime. I don't think they're that great. I think they just suck the least. And I hope that you're beginning to understand why I've been successful as a trader and a teacher, because I am blunt AF. And that's how you have to be when talking about trading, when trading yourself, because you have to remember 90% of traders lose. So while some people are like, oh, that person lost 15,000 on UOMO, 9 out of 10 traders lose. Okay? And whether it's 10,000 or 5,000 or 50,000 or 500,000, almost everybody in this industry loses because they don't have preparation, they don't have discipline, and I want you to do better. That's what all my top students and I do. We have no lives whatsoever. We're obsessed with studying. We sit behind laptops. We sit behind phones. We research. We look for charts. It's not a fun process of getting rich. You get to have fun after you get rich. And frankly, I don't study as much as I used to because it's easier, okay? I don't necessarily need to be as obsessed as I used to be. That's not to say that if you're beginning, you said, oh, Tim Sykes said don't be obsessed. No, in the beginning, for your first 1, 2, 3, 4 years, be obsessed with studying. You have to play a game of catch up. You didn't know, some of you, that UOMO was a pump. You didn't know that it was pumped several years ago. This game has been played for many years and many decades before you even knew about it. So you have to study the past and study the present, and that way you are better prepared in the future. I'm not, some magician. I'm not that good at math. I'm not even, that smart. But I am basically a glorified history teacher. And if you had asked me about UOMO, I could have linked this blog post or, this article I wrote. It was 5 or 6 years ago now. And it now shows all of the same exact kinds of patterns and rules that tell me that it's a pump this time. That's why several of my top trading challenge students shorted it and banked 5 figures. I'm going to include a link just below this if you want to join my trading challenge. This is where all my top students come from. This is where all my new millionaire students and 6-figure students like Kyle and Jackaroo. Jackaroo's closing in on 200,000 in profits. Kyle, I think he's around 150,000 in profits, but they're both 20, 21, 22 years old. So they're young guys, but they've been obsessed with studying my video lessons, DVDs, and webinars. And now, frankly, they did better than me on this one. I didn't even find shares to short. So That's cool. I like it when students do better than me, as long as they're studying and they're obsessed. It's not a bad thing to be obsessed with making money. It's not a bad thing to be obsessed with looking on the internet. I'm not saying go watch, cat videos all your life and play Fortnite and just Netflix and chill and get high. I'm not saying that. I'm saying actually think about your future. Actually utilize the internet for how it should be utilized, because you can do all the research you want right now. And that way you get better. So click some links below. They're all useful. Don't come to this battlefield unprepared. Like that just, I wish I could try to help more people. I'm not right every time, but because I've been in this game for so long, I am prepared. And that's what I want you to be. Click some links below, leave some comments below, and study up. Thrive on this battlefield. Don't get annihilated.